I want to go back to the JD Vance comments because all over the, they keep finding more comments along these lines and every day create another news cycle around them. And it's like, we get it. This is how he feels. And he said it in many places. So today you've got headlines all over the place. Huffington Post and elsewhere excerpting JD Vance says, the following about women. I don't have my, oh yeah. Okay. Here's this one. Look at this. We have to go to war against the idea that women don't have to have kids. That's how they're representing it. This is actually in a few places. They're saying, he said, we have to go to war against the idea that women don't have to have kids. Okay. So we went back and actually looked at the interview that he gave to the Federalist in 2021, and we're going to play you his remarks that they based that false headline on. And then I'll tell you exactly what was going on in the media before he made these remarks. Actually, I'll just tell you now before we go into it. It was 2021. This idea was growing in popularity, that to have children was a bad idea. It was irresponsible for the reasons I stated. And he went on the Federalist 10 days after Mother's Day in 2021. And right around Mother's Day, this messaging was gearing up in earnest. 2021, here's Elle Magazine, Why I Can't Stop Thinking About Child-Free Women. On my fourth Mother's Day, I find myself more drawn than ever to women who decided against having children. That's a nice Mother's Day celebration, Elle. 2021, today's parent. I love my kids, but I don't like parenting, and I know I'm not alone. Of course, that fierce forever love is a given, but the actual day in, day out vagaries of parenting for me and a growing number of North American moms, that's a hard pass. Okay, there's some other headlines out around this time. The Atlantic, 2 reasons parents regret having children. Carrie wishes she'd never had them. She spent a few years feeling satisfied as a mother, but now locks herself in the kitchen and wonders, who am I? What am I doing here? She can't pursue paid work because she has no shepherd. She has to shepherd her 12-year-old and 10-year-old to school, as well as to therapy appointments for their disabilities. Carrie, who lives in the UK, told me she often fantasizes about visiting her friend in Hawaii and never coming back. Here's another one, BuzzFeed, right around the same time. 15 parents shared why they regret having kids, and their reasons why are 100% valid. And then comes JD. He sits on the Federalist, May of 2021, right after Mother's Day, and says the following.
I also think, just to be a little stark about this, I think we have to go to war against the anti-child ideology that exists in our country. Mm-hmm. A few weeks ago, no, Twitter is not real life, but I forget even what caused it, but there was this ridiculous effort by millennial feminist writers to talk about why having kids was not a good thing, why they were glad they didn't have kids, and even encouraging people who had had children to talk about why they regretted having children, which of course is like
Mother's Day hook.
On Mother's Day, which is like psychologically deranged to ask mothers on Mother's Day to talk about why they regretted having children. And what it made me realize is that so much of what drives elite culture is mediocre millennial journalists who haven't gotten out of their career what they thought they would, right? And the thing is, everybody can be an exceptional mother and father. Not everybody can be an exceptional journalist at the New York Times. And not enough people have accepted that if they put their entire life's meaning into their credential, into where they went to school, into what kind of job they have, if you put all of your life's meaning into that, you're going to be the sort of person who asks women to talk about how they regret having children. You're going to be a sad, lonely, pathetic person, and you're going to know it internally, so you're going to project it onto people who have actually built something more meaningful with their lives. I think we have to go to war against that ideology and the people behind it, because we need to say to the people in my hometown, I've seen this with, just to be honest, with my sister. I love my sister is just the best person. I love her to death. And sometimes, she'll say things to me like, maybe I should have delayed having kids. Maybe I should have went to school. Maybe I should have did this or that. And it's like, Lindsay, you've been a great mom. Your children are happy. They're healthy. You've taken good care of them. You've shown me, she was my older sister. She took care of me a lot in a very chaotic home. People like my sister should not feel like the cultural messaging is your life is inadequate. The people who are sending that message should feel that their life is inadequate.
Pretty remarkable when you hear what he actually said versus how he's being portrayed, Batya. It's a lie. What he said in that interview, and you heard the whole context, was we have to go to war against the anti-child ideology that's being spread. The idea, the very idea that having them is a mistake for anyone. The attack was incoming on parents. He was defending parents and those who choose to procreate against the attack. He wasn't launching one on people who make a different choice.
That's a great point. Yeah, our mutual friend Bethany Mandel was texting me about this. She said, you know, people don't understand, people who don't have kids don't understand how frequently we get attacked for being parents, how impatient people are with us, how much contempt they have for us, that is a real thing. I think there's another thing going on here, Megyn, which is, you know, JD Vance is very, very young, right? This is a person who had, you know, a very robust online life before ascending to the position that he's in as, you know, potential next vice president of the United States. You know, we will never again not have this situation where somebody was very free flowing with their words, you know, spoke a lot about a cultural issue that deserved attention and that, you know, he felt passionately about, that deserved to be part of the conversation, that maybe is not exactly how he would have phrased it if he was running for office, right? We are always now going to have that, you know, because our elected officials are going to be getting younger and younger and have more and more of an online record to talk about and respond to. And that is something that we're going to have to get used to. And if we're just saying people are disqualified because of the way that they might have phrased something while being on a podcast, right? While finding
but that's not even what they're saying. That's not what they're saying. They're trying to make it into something other than what it is. They're trying to put an evil spin on it. And this plays right into their long-running approach to running against Republicans to make them anti-woman. You know, that they genuinely believe that because of abortion. They really believe that if you are pro-life, you are anti-woman. You know, even if you're pro-baby. Like they're running right now. They're so thrilled. There have been thought pieces on how Kamala Harris is such a badass because of the way she cross-examined Brett Kavanaugh when he was being confirmed. The 19 words that changed the whole confirmation hearing. And it was something to the effect of, like, can you name me a law that controls what a man does with his body? And Brett Kavanaugh stumbled because he wasn't good in those confirmation hearings. And the proper answer is, no, because men don't have the privilege of sharing a body with a little baby and growing another human. This is something only a woman can do, which the left won't acknowledge in any other context. But this is only a woman. This is only a woman's job. And the law, the Constitution, the Supreme Court has constantly acknowledged, the Supreme Court has always acknowledged that that's a balancing test. There is without question a period, even under the Roe era, where the baby's rights become legally significant and must be considered in addition to the mother's. That's the Roe era. Anyway, that's not a slam by Kamala Harris. She doesn't know what she's, of course a man doesn't have to deal with that. He doesn't create babies. Maybe she forgot that because she is a leftist. All right, let me say one other thing. This is up your alley. They're trying to take a shot at him in class. Like I said, Andy Bashir, he ain't one of us. This is like Silver Spoon lawyer whose dad was rich, who ain't. Oh, okay, I get it. You're a real man of the people, sir. Sure, Andy. The View decided to take a shot at JD and parrot another attack by Bashir. He's like, he gets a chance to make all his money and he takes a shot at our people as being lazy, which is just so dishonest. Anybody who's read Hillbilly Elegy or listened to JD talk about where he comes from knows he's got nothing but love for the people he grew up with. All he wants is to make their lives better. That's literally why he became a politician. But listen to these efforts over at The View.
No, I'm going to pity this man.
All right.
Remember how Mr. T used to pity the fool?
Pity the fool. And who says that people who don't have children are sociopaths? Does that include Mother Teresa and Pope Francis? Yeah. They don't have kids. Right. Well, I mean, what is he talking about?
Nothing. They're talking about nothing.
To Sarah's clip, to that point, what's so difficult for me is that he writes this thing, Hillbilly Elegy, right? About sort of growing up poor. And now...
But he blames the people in Appalachia.
That's what I was going to say. But he blames the people for their circumstance. Look, I grew up in poverty. I remember what it feels like to be hungry. I remember what it feels like not to have enough. He's one of those people that wants people to pull themselves up by the bootstraps when they don't have boots. So he has made it out of Appalachia, but he is blaming those people in Appalachia for the structural problems that keep them there. And I think that is the most despicable thing about him.
He wrote a really interesting and smart book
about getting out of poverty.
And didn't recognize that he isn't out of poverty. Well, he is bereft.
He's bereft of morality.
He is bereft of morality. He's bereft
of spine,
empathy.
Yeah.
No, he's got a spine. It's just not a good one.
Yeah.
It's crooked.
Well, he is poor in that sense.
He's a poor dude.
But Trump's a phony too.
And I'll just play this one other soundbite, Batya, because he was asked questions like this when Hillbilly Elegy hit. Gave tons of interviews, including to me. Major Garrett of CBS News and he had an exchange in which he said as follows.
I think a lot of folks on the left don't appreciate that people don't want a handout. They don't want government support, and they don't, from the right, want people to talk about the noble entrepreneur. What they want is people to recognize the dignity of working people. And I think that what was genius about the politics of Trump's campaign is that he focused on workers and he focused on jobs. It wasn't about the wealthy entrepreneur with a private jet. It wasn't about a government handout. It was about the folks in the middle.
And he goes on to explain. If you read the book, what he's talking about is some people do have a mentality of apathy. They grow up the way JD grew up, and they feel apathetic, and no amount of government money pouring in on them is going to change that. And for that, acknowledging that reality, he's a classless, heartless cad.
It's so amazing because my copy of Hillbilly Elegy it's the 2018 copy. And so it's sort of festooned with praise from all the same outlets that are now attacking him. The New York Times, The Atlantic, NPR, right? All these places that now refer to him in like the most extremist, horrible terms. And what changed was back then, he was a never Trumper, right? He didn't like Trump. And if you don't like Trump, you can get away with a lot as a conservative in the liberal media. But when he realized that Trump was the one who cared about the middle class, that Trump was the one who offered his hometown the best shot, that was it. They had to do this 180 and turn on him. I want to make a few other points. I think that there is an element to this kind of weird, right? They started calling him weird.
In these crazy times, there's peace of mind in security. Security for our country, security for our leaders, and security for our families. But think about this. You're not financially secure if all of your eggs are in one financial basket. Gold and silver can be an amazing way to diversify your savings as a hedge against inflation. They are a physical asset that's in high demand globally. And through Birch Gold Group, you can own physical gold and silver in a tax-sheltered retirement account. Yes, you can diversify an old IRA or 401k for no money out of pocket into an IRA in gold and silver. Just text MK to 989898 and receive a free, no-obligation info kit and learn the role precious metals could play in your overall savings strategy. Again, text MK to 989898. Birch Gold has an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and thousands and thousands of happy customers. Text MK to 989898. Message and data rates may apply. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.